And your inventory is water. I grew up surrounded by water.
It confirms the worst.
Hi, y'all.
Don't do this.
No. No.
I'm the Hollywood sequel doctor.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
I grew up surrounded by...
Somehow returned.
How is it? I grew up surrounded by... I think I swallowed it.
Phrasing!
It's a tricky little bugger. I grew up surrounded by... Tricky little bugger.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Will you help me?
Yes. I grew up surrounded by...
The strength to do it.
Completely confident that Disney, will take good care of the franchise I've built.
Save the rebellion! Save the dream!
I grew up surrounded by...
The dream!
The main reason I brought Kathy on is rather than quit, I wanted to have it move forward, but I needed somebody I trusted who could take that franchise and make it work the way I intended it to. So,
my apologies. You do have a great many things to explain.
Studio just brings me in to oversee things when they about to drop a deuce.
I grew up surrounded by...
Apologies.
But I needed somebody I trusted who could take that franchise and make it work the way I intended it to.
What would George do?
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, Director.
I grew up surrounded by...
Aspirations.
I'm being torn apart. I want to be free of this pain.
You ready? Here come the pain!
I grew up surrounded by...
The pain!
What'd you do?
I bypassed the compressor.
NANI?
What? I grew up surrounded by...
The compressor.
Kanja Club wants their investment back too.
I never made a deal with Kanja Club.
Tell that to Kanja Club.
NANI?
I grew up surrounded by... What?
They need you. Now, go!
I need a weapon!
You have one!
I grew up surrounded by...
A weapon!
The New Republic lies to the galaxy while secretly supporting the treachery, the loathsome resistance.
I grew up surrounded by...
Treachery! And we'll remember this as the last day of the Republic!
Ew, this is so cringe. Guilty.
I grew up surrounded by...
Cringe.
He's in the midst of adolescent angst.
Yes, in the movie, done!
What?
Thank you.
Adolescent angst.
Look at the mask with my boy.
That's why we need a woman in the writer's room. Next!
This is Dreadman. Truly Dread. I grew up surrounded by... Dreadman.
Patch him through. The Republic is no more. Your fleet are rebel scum and war criminals.
I grew up surrounded by...
Scum and criminals.
There are things that you cannot solve by jumping in an X-Wing and blowing something up.
I grew up surrounded by...
Blowing something up.
What would George do?
What?
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
Nothing but garbage, Gaina. I grew up surrounded by... Garbage.
Take good care of the franchise I've built.
You're far too trusty.
What would George do?
Fast time. Kill it.
Delete!
If you have to.
Sheer fucking hubris.
I grew up surrounded by...
Fast.
amazing.
I grew up surrounded by
such spunk. You have the spirit of a true Jedi.
I grew up surrounded by
true Jedi.
I needed somebody I trusted.
He's been planning his revenge.
NANI?
A true Jedi. Ew. Gross.
Oh, God!
How could he let this happen?
I love it so much that it's not only in the movie, but it's definitely in the movie. There's no backseats on that one, no penny taxis. Yes, yes, yes!
I grew up surrounded by
Ew. Gross.
Son of darkness, heir apparent to Lord Vader.
I grew up surrounded by
Lord Vader. Foolish child. He ignites it and kills his true enemy.
NANI?
Delete! Delete!
Yes, yes, yes!
I grew up surrounded by
foolish child.
Take that franchise and make it work the way I intended it to.
What would George do?
a new empire.
That's brilliant. It's in the movie done.
NANI?
The might of the final order will soon be ready.
Are you not entertained? No. No, no.
This is such a crock of shit.
I grew up surrounded by
A true empire.
It cannot be. The Emperor is dead.
Dark science. Cloning. Secrets only the Sith knew.
What? Secrets only the Sith knew.
I grew up surrounded by
Cloning.
It's a fact.
He's been planning his revenge. His followers have been building something for years.
I grew up surrounded by
Revenge.
A Sith wayfinder. They're compasses that lead the way to Exegol. To stop what we both know is coming.
Do not come.
I grew up surrounded by
I'm gonna come.
I don't want to go without your blessing, but I will.
What?
I will. It's what you would do.
I grew up surrounded by
What you would do.
Nice friend.
Who?
Ghouls.
What'd you bring me?
Ooh.
I don't even know who you are. I grew up surrounded by
Ghouls.
Oh, they fly now!
They fly now? They fly now!
Such good shit!
I love it!
I grew up surrounded by
They fly now!
the might of the final order.
Ships that size need help taking off. Nav can't tell which way's up out there.
What?
Can't tell which is up.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What? You're just like a child. You have the brain of a child.
What?
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I grew up surrounded by
Which way's up?
The main reason I brought Kathy on is
What would George do?
Who are you?
Rey Skywalker. Rey Skywalker.
Right. There is nothing like the sight of an amputated spirit. I'd take a flamethrower to this place!
Thank you very much, you son of a bitch!
Yeah. I grew up surrounded by
Flamethrower!
I grew up surrounded by
I will teach you how to ride like a panther. Yes?
NANI?
Okay, who wants to go first?
I grew up surrounded by
Panther. Here you go. Enjoy.
I grew up surrounded by
It's time to say farewell, my friend. Yes, I know. Find other bantha. Make baby banthas. Go. You're free to roam the Dune Sea.
I grew up surrounded by
baby banthas.
Why does it just lie there?
It's depressed. What? Rancor are emotionally complex creatures. What?
I grew up surrounded by
emotionally complex creatures.
Is this the spot? Oh, yes.
Excuse me, Lord Fett.
Not now, I'm busy.
I grew up surrounded by
the spot.
Watch out!